Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. So I am back with two cards that I've created using the Spellbinders June small die kit of the month. This is called Dancing Octopus and Friends. And I'm starting off here working on a 5x7 background. This is cut from Stamp Market Navy. And I have pulled in some bubbles from another stamp set that I have, which is by Ellen Hudson. It's called Subbing In. I wanted to create a background, but I didn't want this to be too busy, and I didn't want to add too much dimension because I'm going to be adding some octopus and jellyfish all over this. So I decided to create some bubbles in the ocean here, and I am using my Versamark ink. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. As you did see at the beginning, I hit that whole 5x7 sheet with my anti-static powder. And I'm just going to sort of sporadically place these all over my background. I'm trying to have some go off the edges so that it will look like it's a continuous pattern. And once I am happy with the amount that I have on there, I'm going to add some of my Simon Says Stamp Fine Detail White Embossing Powder. And I will go ahead and heat set that with my heat gun. So I have added a little bit of mint tape behind here. I just created a little roll of that to help me hold this down in place. And I'm going to pull in all of my little guys to add on top here. So I have created two of these octopus, and I am going to alternate the colors here. So for what I have for the outside of the one octopus, I will have for sort of the underneath inside of the other one, and just vice versa. And then I thought it worked perfectly there to sort of hook their little tentacles together like they're holding hands. This card is, an encouragement card. So I have taken the sign here and I've used some of the stamps from the other kits this month. And rather than embossing on that sign, I decided to go ahead and just stamp on it. There were a few in that set that really fit perfectly. I stamped that using some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. I should let you know all of the cardstock I'm using today. So from Stamp Market, I have got Navy, Blush, Mango, Tropical Teal, Island, Jade, and Craft. From Paper Tray Ink, I'm using Berry Sorbet, Scarlet Jewel, Lavender Moon, Winter Wisteria, and Dark Chocolate. And from MFT, I have pulled in Tangy Orange and Peach Bellini. So I have remade this card. I think this was my third attempt. I knew that I wanted to have the octopus holding hands. I knew that I wanted to have the jellyfish, but I could not decide on a background. And I sort of just kept reworking this until I finally had something I was happy with, which ended up being the bubbles. So you'll see that I do have foam dots behind all of these little guys. Some of them have already been trimmed. And I'm just gonna add some art glitter glue behind, where the sticky has been taken off. But it still gave me some great dimension. and they're somewhat layered there. The two octopus are up just slightly higher than the jellyfish are. I'm going to add some art glitter glue to the back of my panel here, and I will place that on top of my card base. Again, this is a 5x7 card. Whenever I add a panel like this, I always like to make sure that the folded edge of my card and one of the sides of the edges are lined up, and from there you can trim wherever you need. There I'm showing you I used Lawn Fawn's Milos ABCs to spell out the sentiment, "You've got this." I thought this font matched really well with the others that I had stamped on the front. I of course added some ATG, placed that on the inside, and this is a final look at the first card. For my second card, I am going to create a slimline card. This measures 8.5 by 3.5. And I wanted to create a background here that made it feel as though this was really in one of the deepest parts of the ocean. So I'm going to blend with some Distress Oxide ink. And for the blue, I am using Faded Jeans, and then the black is Black Soot. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth between these two colors. I wanted to have a very soft blend. I was working really hard here to make sure I didn't have too much of a black border. I wanted this to really feel very soft, but also give the idea that it was, dark in the bottom of that ocean there. So now that I've got my background finished, I'm going to start laying out the scene. I have used most of the same colors in the previous card, but I have pulled in from Paper Tray Ink, Orange Zest, Lemon Zest, and Fine Linen. From Stamp Market, some Melon, and from MFT, their Lemon Zest. So I am laying everything out here. You will see after I finish the card, I go back in and make some changes. I'll talk you through that. But I have pulled in some of the sort of sand hills, I guess you could call them. This was a part of the large die kit of the month, as well as some of the greenery and that little piece of coral there as well. And then I'm laying out my octopus in the center here with the 3 jellyfish and the 3 starfish. And once I am happy with that, I will go ahead and use some art glitter glue to get everything into place. For that octopus there, I did use some sticky thumb dots just to get that popped up, sticking out a little bit more than everything else. I was really thinking of that grumpy Disney octopus when I chose those orange colors. All right, so I've got my scene laid out here. I'm trimming off my excess pieces, and I decided I just did not like that blue that was on the bottom. It needed more sand. It just was not looking right to my eye. So I am going to trim out another piece of Desert Storm here. I have used my Lawn Fawn stitched hillside border. I used that a little bit with my large die kit as well. And I am again using the side that does not have the stitching on it. I wanted a smooth edge to match the smooth edges of the hills. And I'm going to very carefully peel away all of these things along the bottom here. Now, I'm being very careful, especially towards the top portion, because I know that I'm going to be covering up what's at the bottom, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And that greenery there, I can save that. I have plenty more, but I tried to save that as well. I'm just being very, very careful in how I'm removing this so that I'm not tearing any of that upper portion. I did not want to have to remake my background because doing that ink blending takes quite a bit of work. So I'm carefully peeling all of this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and just cut out some new hills using all the same colors. And then I've got this bottom piece here that I've trimmed using the Nina, and I'm going to add some art glitter glue and place that down. And there you'll see the portions that did have, you know, any little bit of tearing or leftover portion from what was there before. They're going to be easily covered up. So I'm laying everything out, making sure that's all going to work. And now I'm going to go ahead and get all of this actually attached down to my card panel. So I am attaching this just slightly lower than the bottom of my panel. I had tried trimming off a portion of it. I thought I would just make a little bit smaller of a card, but because I still had some blue hanging around on the bottom there, I just felt like I needed to add this longer strip. So I'm putting that slightly lower to cover for the small piece that I had trimmed off. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my hills down again. Making sure everything is tucked in where it should be there. And then of course I will add in the little seaweed. I've gone ahead there and trimmed off the excess. I will again add some art glitter glue to the back of my panel, making sure that I get some along that bottom portion that just has just that little sliver of the sand. And I will place this down on my card base. For the inside, I have got a Nina paper panel trimmed to 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. I'm going to use another one of the stamps from the clear stamp set, which says "See You Soon," and I'm stamping that out using my intense black ink so it will match the ink on the sign on the front. I'll add some ATG to the back of that and place that on the inside of my card base. And that will complete card number 2. Here are a few close-ups of the finished cards. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I've used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.